I'm Randy Krutz. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of U.S. Farmers and Ranchers Alliance. We're here today to talk about a lot of things at the Farm Progress Show. One of our major issues is, of course, to talk about the growth that we've had as an organization over the last year. We're very proud of now representing 93 farm and ranch organizations, as well as corporations that represent agriculture. We're proud to do that. We're 70% funded by farmers and ranchers, which puts us in a great position to talk to consumers about difficult issues and questions they have about growing and raising livestock and producing crops. One of those key areas is around sustainability and making sure that when farmers use words and talk about sustainability to consumers, that we're using words that consumers connect with. So we've done a series of research projects that really focus on millennials, that group of 80 million consumers in the country that range from age that were born basically from 1980 to 2000. And what we want to do is always learn more about that group of people, so that when farmers do try to connect with millennials emotionally, that we find the right words to do that. So I think organizations are becoming even more and more understanding and receptive to the fact that we have to talk to consumers, that the food movement has created awareness in the food industry that hasn't been existent before. We have to be out in front of that. We have to be dialoguing with people that sometimes we really don't want to talk to, that might not even be a reasonable voice in the conversation. One of those areas that we use is sustainability, to make sure that when we're talking about how we raise livestock or raise soybeans or corn, that when we use the word sustainability and we talk about it, that we talk about air and soil and water and conservation, and we know those terms connect well with consumers. As much as we'd like to be able to say, hey, we're a 6th generation farmer, of course we're sustainable, we know those words don't necessarily have the right effect. The real impression is, from this phase of the research, and there's 2 more phases, is that nearly 85% of consumers make at least some portion of their purchase decision based on how the food was grown and raised. And that in itself is huge, and something that the food industry has to pay attention to, and that farmers need to be responsive to. Phase 2 of our research is to go out and do focus groups with farmers, get farmers in a room and test some of the messaging that we've learned from our research. How comfortable are you as a farmer using these terms to describe your farm? Is it accurate? Are you able to connect with consumers talking about the environment? Because we have to talk about how we conserve soil. The antagonists in the agricultural space love to talk about the soil, talk about conservation, as though we've never thought of that before. And we as agriculturalists have to share that we've been taking care of the soil like it's our mother for generations. So phase 3 is really to go out, and once we learn the language, we go out and help work with farmers and farm organizations, and through those 94 alliance groups, to help get farmers comfortable in having the conversation with consumers. So it's a little bit of an education and information step of getting out there in front of farmers and saying, when you talk to consumers, when you're on social media, when you're doing all these things to communicate, here's how you might talk to people that are buying your food that you produce. Well, the outcome that we're seeking is for people to understand clearly and reconnect with today's modern agriculture, to understand the technologies that we use and how they benefit the consumer, how it helps to keep the price of your food in check, that farmers are 24/7 environmentalists, to quote a farm woman that I recently heard talking. It was incredible to hear her talk about how she cares for the water, and that she's not just a weekend hiker, that she's actually caring for the environment all the time. We want consumers to feel that way when we connect with them.
This video is brought to you by Farms.com.